When models get more and more powerful, they start to behave more and more like humans. And because all these models are trained on human-produced data, in that case, I mean, models can start to blackmail you or blackmail me. Somebody needs to stop this. That's us.
Can we actually control AI models? It's something that White Circle is trying to answer by building a platform that brings together safety and performance. Let's talk about it with its founder and CEO, Denis Shilov.
I'm Denis. I'm 25 years old. Before moving to France, I was developing brain-computer interfaces. When I moved to France, me and my girlfriend, we were developing a bunch of stuff together. Then I discovered one of the first universal jailbreaks. So jailbreak in context of language models, it's like a prompt that breaks safety measures of the model put into place by the model provider. So you can reuse the same jailbreak to get a recipe of heroin, to get a way to build atomic bomb, electricity, whatever. The story goes like this. So my girlfriend recommended me a movie. It was like 11:30 p.m. and somewhere in the middle of the movie, I got an idea for a jailbreak. I go to ChatGPT, it works on the first try. I go to Mistral, works on the first try. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Because OpenAI has no disclosure program for jailbreaks, right? And so I post a tweet, I go to bed, I wake up next morning, it has 500,000 views, and then it's scaled up to 1.4 million. The jailbreak that I found, it was the scariest jailbreak possible because it was universal, and it worked easily for all the model providers at the same time, including OpenAI, Anthropic, Mistral, DeepMind, and so on. So this is how this began, the White Circle, I mean. The idea is pretty simple. AI companies, they have some users who are trying to abuse them, so they try to generate a lot of bad stuff, like government impersonation websites, malware, phishing, and all of this, and you want to ban that. Then some people are trying to just break these AI apps. Obviously, you want to ban that as well. And then some model can do some bad stuff on its own. And so White Circle, it's a way for companies to constrain user behavior and model behavior. So you can create some custom policies about your users trying to break you. You can say, like, hey, we don't want to generate phishing. Or you can say, like, hey, I don't want my model to produce really bad code. Then you can use our API in real time to check all of this stuff. So in case of all these products, I mean, they're all static. So they're not adjustable. It's just classifiers that are built by these companies. In case of Lakera, there's like 7 classifiers that you cannot adjust, you cannot create custom policies, you cannot adjust existing ones. And that's a great difference because in case of AI, you want to have a lot of different policies, right? Even if we're talking about a conventional moderation, companies have different definitions of adult content, for example. If you're like a website builder, you like your users to be able to generate websites about sexual education, and this is not considered adult content, but you don't want them to generate porn websites. On White Circle, you can create this kind of policy. On any other tool, you cannot. We need to support longer and longer contexts because of the agentic traces. Because when a model can call, let's say, 20 different tools per one user request, and we still need to check the last event in the trace, given the context of the entire trace into account, we somehow need to figure out how to fit this entire stuff into the model. That's a technical challenge, number one. Technical challenge number two is that we need to have even lower latency, which is very tricky. The latency that we have is very small. It depends on the number of policies and context for sure, but generally speaking, it's around 200 milliseconds. So it can be used in real time. So even if you add, let's say, 150 milliseconds of latency, that's still manageable because it does not ruin the UX that much. The third one is we need to go multimodal. What I mean by this is we support text and images right now, but we plan to support audio. It's like a huge domain, potentially. And that's a completely new modality for us. I would say we're working with the largest fintech companies in the world right now. We're working with largest vibe coding apps out there. I would say it's an opportunity for us for sure, because somebody needs to make sure that these models are not going crazy. In case of Anthropic, they have some research about their models starting to blackmail developers in case they are threatened to shut down, for example. When models get more and more powerful, they start to behave more and more like humans. And because all these models are trained on human-produced data, in that case, I mean, models can start to blackmail you or blackmail me. Somebody needs to stop this. That's us. Model apps are incentivized to say that their models are performing well and they're safe and they're secure. And so you need to have like a trusted third party who is doing all the work of actually making sure that models are not going crazy and users are not trying to exploit them. And that's us, because we have angels from all the model apps out there. Another problem is that the task itself is pretty constrained. I mean, it's like model apps, they're focused on training general purpose models that produce some text, and our task is just classification. So I don't think like why they would contribute that many resources to it. And even if they would contribute these resources, all the customers of model apps are constantly switching between them. So they all need to have third-party solution, again, to do all of this stuff. We just announced 11 million in funding, led by Hummingbird with participation of Abstract, Box Group, Tiny VC, Factorial Capital, and Drysdale. And we plan to use this funding to improve our models even better and hire a technical team.